Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most shocking and tragic hunting accidents that shook America. We are talking about the horrifying last minutes of Hunter Mark Uptain. Mark Uptain was an experienced guide and professional outfitter based in Wyoming. On September 14, 2018, he was on a hunting trip with his client, Chubon. They were following a blood trail of an elk that Chubon had just shot on the Bridger-Teton National Forest when they were attacked by a grizzly bear. Bridger-Teton National Forest is located in western Wyoming, United States. The forest consists of 3.4 million acres, 14,000 square kilometers, making it the third largest natural forest outside Alaska. The forest stretches from Yellowstone National Park along the eastern boundary of Grand Teton National Park and from there rides along the western slope of the Continental Divide to the southern end of the Wind River Range. The forest also extends southward, encompassing the Salt River Range and Wyoming Range Mountains near the Idaho border. The Bridger-Teton National Forest is an administrative combination of the Bridger and Teton National Forests, which were merged in 1973. Bridger National Forest itself absorbed the Wyoming National Forest in 1923. The Wyoming National Forest was created in 1904 as the Yellowstone Forest Reserve, then renamed. In 1908, the Teton Forest Reserve was created at the same time, designated as a Teton National Forest. At some time during the attack, bear spray was used by Mark Uptain. The bear spray can was emptied. The grizzly sow was reported to have a strong odor of bear spray about her head. The weather was warm enough to compel Uptain to take off his shirt. Unfortunately, Mark Uptain also took off his holstered GLOCK 10mm. The GLOCK pistol in a shoulder holster had been placed with the packs about 5 to 10 yards from the elk carcass. He placed it too far from him to be accessed before the sow reached him. By doing that, he negated one of the greatest advantages of pistols for defensive use. The advantage is having a gun on your person when you need it. Holstered pistols free up both hands to do other things. To sum up the events, the guide, Mark Uptain, and his client, Chubon, were processing the bull elk they had recovered. The elk carcass had not been molested by any predators. They were nearly finished when the bears attacked from downhill and downwind. The sow, about 250 pounds, attacked Uptain at the elk carcass. Chubon ran over to the pack and pulled the pistol from the holster. At first, he did not shoot for fear of hitting Uptain. Then the sow turned its attention to him. Being unfamiliar with the GLOCK, he was unable to fire it as the pistol did not have a round chamber. He ejected the loaded magazine on the ground while trying to fire the pistol. This has been known when people unfamiliar with the controls of a pistol try desperately to fire it in a life or death situation. People try all the controls they can find trying to make the pistol work. As the bear begins to beat Chubon, he tries to throw the pistol at Mark Uptain. The bear then released Corey and went back after Mark again. Chubon ran for help. Chubon had bear spray, but it had been placed in one of the packs, making it inaccessible during the attack. A rescue helicopter picked up Chubon about 2.5 hours after the attack. The helicopter was being used on a fire and had to be called back for the rescue. The report concluded that Mark Uptain had died about the time that Chubon called for rescue, 2 hours before rescuers reached Chubon. The report states the use of bear spray likely halted the attack. Writers for other publications conclude this shows bear spray was effective in this incident. It is hard to see this event as a successful use of bear spray. Bear spray was used, but the user was killed. The bear stopped attacking at some point, and Mark Uptain, fatally wounded, was able to move about 50 yards from the elk carcass before he died. The empty bear spray canister was found near his body. There are several incidents where bear spray initially deterred a bear, which later returned to continue the attack. There are numerous incidents where bears left mauled victims without being sprayed and then returned later. Many people have suggested that while dressing for a game in grizzly country, one person should stay alert and guard while the other member or members of the party dress in the game. After Chubon fled, precisely what happened is speculative work, but the Game and Fish investigation said the reconstruction of events does not include speculation about details not supported by the evidence. A healthy 250-pound sow grizzly was later shot and killed by Game and Fish staff and caused substantial traumatic damage to Uptain. Based on the spacing of the bite marks, investigators determined that the yearling male bear was also involved in the attack, a factor in the decision to euthanize the young grizzly. All told, Uptain suffered 38 puncture wounds and 14 ripping or tearing wounds, but the chief injuries incurred in the fight for his life were to the upper thighs on both legs, which had been deeply torn and ripped and endured massive blood loss. A crushing wound impacted the hunting guide's forehead, exposing bone and cartilage, and his scalp had been peeled off from his forehead to his neck, though his skull in the exposed area was intact. Game and Fish investigators and Teton County Coroner Brent Blue have remained divided over the specific wound that killed Uptain and whether he could have moved at all after suffering it. Blue, who do not visit the scene, said a bite that penetrated Uptain's skull would have instantaneously caused death. During the attack, Chubon got the gun. Hovinga stated that Chubon told his agency's investigators that he could not get the unfamiliar weapon to fire, but Chubon had also told others that he was afraid of firing and hitting the guide. Uptain's body was found. An exam of his body determined that at some point the yearling bear weighing 150 to 200 pounds had also attacked Uptain. Authorities caught the yearling in a foot snare and found the sow nearby. She charged and officials shot the bear. The yearling was also killed. Chubon told WESH that he didn't believe he would make it. When that bear did have me by the back of the leg, thinking to myself that this is it, this is my death, this is how I'll die. In a split second, the grizzly charged out of nowhere and charged at the two hunters, mauling them with ruthless force. Uptain tried to protect Chubon and put himself between the grizzly and his client, but the bear was too powerful. In a terrifying and gruesome scene, they were both attacked relentlessly by the bear until they could no longer tolerate the pain. Despite initial efforts to call for help and get rescued, Uptain lost his strength and passed away due to the severe injuries inflicted by the grizzly bear. Chubon survived the attack, but not without enduring painful injuries and trauma. The incident sent shockwaves throughout the hunting community, sparking a debate on the safety and regulations surrounding hunting in grizzly country. Many questions were raised about the ethics and fairness of hunting elk in such a sensitive ecosystem. Thanks to the bravery of the rescuers who arrived on the scene, Chubon was able to make it back home alive. However, the loss of Uptain was a tragedy that left a profound impact on his family and the community at large. His wife and 3 children were left mourning the loss of a beloved husband and father. In light of this tragedy, there are lessons to be learned about hunting safety and the importance of respecting the natural habitat of wildlife. Hunting in bear country is not something to be taken lightly, and hunters should always take precautions to avoid such incidents. In essence, this unfortunate incident serves as a sobering reminder of the harsh reality that faces hunters in the wild. We must always be vigilant and cautious when venturing into nature. The loss of Hunter Mark Uptain is a reminder of the risks associated with the sport and how careful everyone should be when out hunting. Let us always remember his legacy and remind ourselves of the risks involved in the activity we love. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.